I always had the top grade in the class, and I would come home and brag about how I helped this boy who sat next to me who was struggling with times tables, or I helped this girl with her spelling. Then one day, this boy joins our class and he's really good at math. Not as good as me, but almost. And he asked me for help, and I told him I'd think about it, but I didn't want to. Bobby Simpson. I was so scared that he'd take the top score from me. I told my mom that I wasn't going to help him, and my mom said that if I was going to be proud of myself for being generous, that I had to do it even when it meant I might lose something.
I'm your host, Melanie,
And I'm Tiffany,
and we are two outdoorsy bookish baldies.
and this is Words in the Wild.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast, Words in the Wild. I'm your host, Mel.
And it's your girl, Tiff B. First, or Tiffany.
And today, we're picking up a new book, another one.
Yes. Book 3 of the season. We are chugging
Yeah,
along.
I know, right? Yeah, that's pretty dope. We're reading Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. You may know her as the best-selling author of, I want to say, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. That was one that I hadn't read yet, but I heard it was really good. And Daisy Jones and the Six and some other books. But yeah, this is my first Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Yeah, I've never heard of Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I was reading this book, and someone came up to me and was like, "Oh my goodness, how is that one? I've read all of her other books. I've been wanting
Mm.
to read that one." And I was like, "Well, so far so good, but I never heard of any of the other books."
Yeah, okay.
So clearly she's
Mhm.
a known author.
Mhm. Yeah, I had heard at least of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I feel like that one was really popular for a while, but and then Daisy Jones and the Six sounded familiar, I don't know, and then I don't know many other titles by her, but definitely I think Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo might have been, like, a breakthrough in a way. That was the one
Mm.
that put me onto her. But yeah, I guess before we get into the book too much, should we do a little check-in? How you doing?
Yeah, how's your joy? How's your mind, body, and soul? All the things.
Yeah, I mean, it's I am doing all right. Yeah, I'm like in the middle of some transitions, so it's I think taking a lot out of me, but I think it's good, Hopefully this is what growth feels like, I think.
This
So,
is what
yeah.
adulting feels like.
Yeah, adulting, growth, like a little bit uncomfortable, but ultimately good. So, yeah. How about you? How are you doing?
I I feel fatigued, but I decided that this was going to be the week that I got back in the gym, like
Mhm.
for real. And so not only am I working out, as in I am doing HIT
Mm.
once a week, strength training slash weightlifting twice a week, and swimming twice a week.
Wow. Nice.
And I would like to start doing something outside once a week on Sundays. Although Sundays is technically my rest day.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like an active rest day, I guess. I don't know. But it's the problem I am, the struggle that I'm having with this much physical activity or exertion or whatever is that I don't consume enough protein.
Mm.
And I haven't quite figured out a good plant protein balance.
Hmm.
And if I eat anything outside of a vegan diet or a fish diet, I just don't have the best reactions. Like I don't love it. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I have to figure out how to do the whole macro, micro, and
Mm.
food planning, prepping, and things that I don't do. I'm more of a hit up the Mexican spot and give me a couple tacos.
Yeah.
Like I just don't think about it, but I think I'm just burning more calories than I am consuming. I
Mm.
know I am burning more calories than I'm consuming, but I'm just trying to
Yeah.
get my strength together because I know I'm gonna be outside soon, and I need
uh,
to get it together.
Yeah,
So
I hear that. Yeah, I feel like when I, like, started I don't know, I had this moment where I just, like, started exercising a lot more, I think, than I was. Like, I had started roller skating, and I was getting back into climbing and doing that more, and I, like, turned it was crazy. Like, I don't know, I just think the body is weird, and cravings are weird, and it's like, "Whoa," like, this is, like, my body is my body is communicating with me through cravings. I don't know, something about that
eat,
was just
eat, ho! You better eat.
something about that is really interesting, like, how cravings are not, like, a choice. It's like my body has a practical need for more protein, and so here I am craving, like, a double quarter pounder,
Yeah,
just because, like, my body's like, "We need protein, we need replenishment." So yeah, I don't know, it's very, very interesting, but yeah, I get that, and bread. I was craving a
yeah.
lot of, like, pastries and, like, bread too. So yeah, I don't know. Nutrition and things, but yeah, that's cool. Good for you. And yeah, that sounds like a lot, but hopefully you're making sure that you do make time for rest. And if that is your rest, then great. So
I
yeah.
just nap a lot, which I know is not. It helps with the physical recovery.
Hmm.
Um, Swimming is very, very unique. I don't know if there's any swimmers out, but if any like adventure folks get hurt, swimming is the key. I don't care what anybody tells you. Get in the pool. Like the things that I can do in the pool, I can now do on land because I was doing it in the pool.
Hmm.
But swimming is like I miss running and having the ability to run.
Hmm.
And so I get that runner's high from swimming that I don't get to get from running. So I love it. But you get that high and then you crash just
Hmm.
as hard as that high
Yeah.
is. And I've been trying to swim before I go to the library. And so
Oh
it's
wow.
like,
Yeah, swimming is
yeah,
incredibly exerting. Like exertive? I don't know the word for that. But yeah, swimming it's like, whoa.
it is.
I don't know. Yeah. My good friend is like a swimmer and I've been begging him for I feel like I can swim okay. Like I can get by,
Yeah.
but I don't think that my technique is like great. And I think that that matters a lot. And
Oh, yeah, for
yeah.
sure. I'm self-taught, so I know I look crazy. But I'm
Well,
like,
that's
I'm not
so you're
drowning and
out
I'm
here
going back and
getting it.
forth. That's the point, right?
You're staying in a straight line more or less?
Yes, I can stay in a straight line. I just
Nice.
wish I had more strokes. Like, I wish I knew more strokes because I
Yeah.
get bored easily. Or I wish I could get some
Mhm.
headphones where I can listen while I swim because
Mm.
it's like running in an indoor track.
Yeah. Do
I'm
you
like,
dive into
"How?
the pool or do you just get in?
Do I do what?"
Do you dive in or do you just get in?
I just get in, but I get in and I immerse myself immediately. I don't do that whole slow pokey
Mhm.
thing, although our
For
pool
sure.
is pretty heated, so it's
Makes sense.
not, like, ice cold at all.
Mhm.
Um, but, yeah, I don't know, I feel like I could be form-wise better because I am literally just what I watched on whatever I watched. I actually have no idea how I learned how to swim, to be honest. I really don't. My mom does not know how to swim. My brother
Yeah.
doesn't know how to swim. His kids didn't know how to swim.
Wow.
I have no idea.
Just
But
did it.
I always wanted to be a mermaid, so I think
Mhm.
it was just inherent in me to swim.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, wow. Swimming, yeah. I tried to practice it a little bit when I was in Mexico, and I made it from one end to the other of this little, like, lake thing, and I was, like, tired, but I was like, "Okay, I think I'm getting it, like, I'm getting something's happening." So, I don't know, yeah, I think, though, that that's an exercise that I would wanna practice. I'm looking for more workouts for upper body, and I was thinking about pole, and I feel like swimming
Mm.
would be an excellent addition, so Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. If you have access, for me, the longest that was the hardest is I didn't have a pool to go to. I
Mhm.
did have a job that was next to a community center, and I would swim sometimes on my lunch break.
Yeah,
But I had locks then, and
yeah.
I don't care. There, I could not find a swim cap that kept my locks. I
Uh,
mean, I was told that swim caps are not meant to prevent your hair from getting
get
wet. They're
wet,
just there
yeah,
to
kinda
contain.
like
And I'm like, well, I want to swim every day,
yeah.
and now my hair is wet and it's got chlorine in it, and I can't
Mhm.
wash my locks every day, or they're gonna get dry and brittle. So it just was a whole
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Damn, yeah. Well, look at you now, aerodynamic.
Out
You're
here,
not
just
with
bald and swimming, bald
done
and
it.
swimming,
Yeah.
loving it.
Oh. Well, cool. Yeah, let's dive into the book then.
Oh, look at you and the puns.
What? Oh, that wasn't even on purpose,
I
but
know, I know,
you
I know. That's
naturally
why it was so
came.
perfect.
Um
Let's dive in.
So yeah, I'll talk a little bit about Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I mentioned that she's an American author and a screenwriter.
Oh.
Her books tend to be based in historical fiction, and they often focus on the complexity of women and the lives of women, fame, relationships, and I think queer stories also. And so I mentioned that her two of her best-selling books were The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Daisy Jones and the Six, which I had heard of, and I thought that it was a film, but I think it is, in fact, I think it's a miniseries on Amazon, and it was a book that she wrote. So it's based on a book that she wrote. I'm actually not sure if that one is fiction or not, but I think it's about like a band. So yeah. Um, yeah, she was born in Maryland, raised in Massachusetts, and so she did work in film production previously, and as a casting agent. And I think that having read what I've read of Atmosphere, I think that that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
We'll get into
Yeah.
it, but I think that the book immediately reads like a TV show or a drama of some sort. Like it has that vibe where she's just like, "Pow, we're gonna bring you right into the action," and then we're
Yeah.
kind of like,
I think
yeah.
I told you a few weeks ago, offline maybe,
Mm.
that I thought I saw on one of the bookstagrams, that this book had gotten adapted, and I thought I
Oh,
had saved it, or
yeah.
it's getting adapted, I should say, not has.
Oh,
And I thought I saved it, but I could not find it, so then I questioned my reality.
yes.
But then I just Googled it, and it was
Oh.
announced in February, so I know that I saw it because
Oh,
I was
oh,
like, "Oh, that sounds like the book we're reading." Or,
yeah.
like, I saw the name, and I was like, "I think that's on our book list." Um,
Whoa. Do you know okay, do you know who's gonna be in it?
they don't have a cast,
Okay,
it's
just
in early development. They just know it's gonna be written and directed by Set Anna Bowden and Ryan Fleck.
perfect, so we can, like, make our predictions.
Mhm.
Oh my god,
Yes.
and actually see if they come true. They probably won't, but
Yes.
that's
So if
okay.
y'all aren't, subscribed to our YouTube, check out our show Beyond the Wild, where we, also talk about the book, but it goes a little bit different than this here. So yeah, it is gonna be adapted. So it is I'm
Yeah,
literally, as I'm reading it, I am creating characters. Just know
nice.
that. And they
Um
won't be any of the characters who are in this film, I assure you.
in our alternate reality.
Yes.
But yeah, and so yeah, she started in film. She wrote her debut novel in 2013. It was called Forever Interrupted, another one I haven't heard of. But since then, she's written several novels, and she's already had one book adapted into a miniseries. And so yeah, I'm very excited that we're reading this book and I'm getting to know another author. I'm vibing with her style so far. So yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely another one of those, like, hit me in the face with 8 million characters, and
Yes.
so I got overwhelmed
Like who's
because
important.
initially I tried to write down all the characters. I think, I told you this happened with me with, Parable of the Sower. I was like, "Ooh, and this, and this, and this," and then I was like, "You know what? let me just wait to see who is essential here, 'cause
Who rises to the top. Yeah.
yeah,
Who
this
stays.
is too much. All these, astronaut names, I
Right.
cannot.
Their
I can't
first name,
keep
their
up.
last name, a nickname that's a variation of their
Right.
last name. It's like, wait
Oh
a
my
minute.
god. I was like, "Wait,
Yeah.
is this the same as that?"
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
I had to go back to a couple pages, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yes, that is
Mhm.
the same person. Griff, John,
John
Jackie,
Griffin?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah." I
Griffin.
was like, "Y'all are killing me."
Yeah.
My attention span is just not where I needed to be for that type of thing, so
Yeah. I hear that. Um, so this book, I don't I yeah, I really know so far is that it's historical fiction. And I'm not sure if it's historical fiction because of a specific event that it discusses or just because it captures like a specific time period in history.
mhm,
Um, but it is kind of historical fiction meets romance. So our protagonist, Joan Goodwin, has always been obsessed with space and she's dreamt of becoming an astronaut since she was a little girl. And she finally gets her chance in the 80s. This takes place in the 80s, by the way. And she finally gets her chance to join NASA's astronaut training program. And she meets Vanessa Ford, and there is this illicit romance that happens between the two of them throughout the course of the book. And it's kind of like this secret romance that's going on. And she's also kind of navigating, I think, the challenges that come with being like a really smart, badass woman in a male dominated industry in the 80s. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I know about the book. And I think that's a good place to leave it. Cause, yeah, I feel like there's a lot that's
yeah,
going to
yeah, I
happen.
mean, I don't think in this first set of pages we get the full admission that there's a romance. It's just
Mhm.
kind of like bubbles of the romance.
Right.
Um,
I think the synopsis that I read mentioned that. So,
See, just like I don't watch trailers,
I
I
mean,
don't read
how will you
synopsis.
how will you know what the book is about and if you wanna read it?
Well, in this case, I just trusted your judgment. In the real world, yes, I probably would have. But if I
Yeah.
watch a trailer, I watch the first 10 seconds, and then if I'm
Oh,
if that's enough, then they just put too much in it.
yeah,
And
interesting.
sometimes
I
I
hear
feel like
that. I
in the
Yeah.
book descriptions, they tell you a little too much. Like, I kinda like being surprised.
Right, I
Like,
agree.
only because I knew, because the book says a love story, that I knew this was a love story.
Mhm.
Um, I don't even know if I kinda like how I came to the conclusion that it was between Vanessa and Joan, but that
Yeah.
also kinda became obvious
The
pretty
beginning,
quickly.
right. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
right.
yeah, and so, I don't know, I
I
like
hear
to be
you, though.
surprised.
Yeah, I do feel like when I read that in the synopsis, I was like, I'm kinda surprised that they would say that. Like, it's fine to say a love story and maybe allude to it being like, "Ooh, gay."
Mhm,
Lesbian.
yeah,
But, like, I don't think that they needed to actually, like, name the person that it was with, but yeah, I mean, either way, within the first, like, 10 pages, you're like, "Oh, okay."
yeah.
It's pretty obvious. But
Yeah, and this book
yeah,
is very unique. So,
yeah,
one of our challenges was that there aren't really chapters.
uh-huh,
There's just periods of time, and that's kinda how this book is broken down, and then there's, like, obvious breaks that
mhm,
aren't chapter breaks per se, but they kinda are.
mhm,
And so like you said, this book did kick off for me very much like a film.
mhm,
Um, like, you see the climax happening,
mhm.
and then it goes into the actual
How did
meat
we
of the
get here?
story.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So
Yeah,
all I know is, and like I said, we can discuss. I know this is different because we don't have chapters, but I'm happy to kind of just discuss in the groups And so the December 29th, 1984,
Mhm.
um, this this was actually like interesting because I wrote this down, but now I'm wondering if I wrote this wrong. I thought Joan had a kid when I was initially,
Mhm.
but now I'm realizing that might have been her niece that she was talking about. So
Mhm.
in the first section, you kind of start to meet Joan, you meet Vanessa, you meet John, and they're on this mission, an actual mission. And Vanessa's up in the sky, off doing astronaut things, and Joan is down on the ground. And I don't know why they pissed me off so bad. But John and Vanessa goes and do their thing. They go and plant the device or whatever they go and
Oh,
do. And then they're like, let's just look at it for a while. And then
the
they decide
door
to leave.
open.
Yeah, they leave the door open on the spaceship or whatever. And honestly, I couldn't visually understand what all happened. I just knew all hell broke loose and
Yeah,
pressure was getting and people's was just dying left and right.
yeah. So it was like some sort of like I didn't really understand it at all, but basically like some piece of mechanical equipment exploded and like hit the actual spacecraft and caused a leak in the spacecraft, which like messed with like I guess the pressure or whatever, the air. And then another piece of shrapnel actually hit the astronaut that Vanessa was with.
Yeah.
So
But wasn't this because they left the door open?
well, I think it hit him because they left the door open. I don't know if it hit the spacecraft. It might have hit the spacecraft from, like, the wall or something, I'm not sure
I
about
think
that.
so because they were looking for the hole. They were like, "Where is the hole? Like, how is
Okay.
this happening?" I
Yeah.
don't know. I guess
Maybe, yeah, I could that part was a little I didn't
my
pick up.
general frustration was just like,
Come on,
y'all
y'all.
aren't professional enough to know. Like, I get it.
Yeah,
You
a
don't
whole
get to
NASA
just
astronaut.
right?
Like,
Like, you don't. I get that you don't get to experience this every day, but
yeah,
I just
come
was
on now.
really, I don't
All
know.
the science you done learned. You've been studying this for, like, 15 years. Come on now.
Oh my god, I
Don't
was
piss me
so
off.
mad. I was so mad, and,
Yeah.
like, you could kinda tell that there was this thing between Joan and Vanessa at that point, like, it wasn't blatant, but there was, like, these subtle little teases, and I don't know. So
Yeah.
it leaves you very much on a cliffhanger, which,
Uh-huh.
is why when I said I started reading it, I was like, "Oh, it's so good." I like, because hit me in the face with a good time. I was like, "Yes,
Uh,
drama off the gate." I
yeah,
was, I was mad, but I was like, "This is good. I can get
yeah.
with this."
Huh. Yeah.
And then we go back in time.
Back to
Yeah.
time.
And you know, I know you have some questions, but I did want to get into certain parts of this book that kind of was that I found interesting.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um so Joan kind of got into this program in a way because of her sister.
Mhm.
And I thought that that relationship was interesting.
Mm.
This is her younger sister, and I think it's kind of like that combination of, the responsible sibling and the irresponsible sibling.
Mhm. Mhm.
And some families with multiple kids have that scenario where there's the one. And
Never
I'm not
know anyone like
saying
that.
I'm not saying which one I am or you are or anybody because you actually do have a sister.
I have an older sister, yes, and she
Yes.
is very responsible.
Oh my God.
She has
So
2
you do,
children.
or Barbara.
I
You're a
am
Barbara.
absolutely Barbara.
Oh my God.
I mean, I didn't have a kid at a young age. That was the one thing I managed not to do, and I actually wasn't, like, that wild of a child, but for sure I was the, like, whimsical younger sister who was just like, we'll see, we'll figure it out." Yeah.
Yeah, so Barbara brings this NASA opportunity to her doorstep, as well as her kid to her doorstep all the
Yeah,
time.
all the time, yes. She's like, "This
And
is your baby."
I mean, basically, I it was kind of crazy to me because it was like you actually didn't want to have a kid, is what I'm sensing,
Huh,
and you did, and now you're just pawning this child off on your sister.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. That to me was wild. I was like, "Damn, how you just make her respond like, how you just make her responsible and you just, like, assume this obligation upon her." Like, you
yeah,
just bestow
yeah.
it onto her. Um,
Yeah, and
yeah.
so it was like she was already kinda taking I think she was like I feel like she was her emotional support, and then she became her actual support. Once she had the kid, it was like, you know, we co-raising Francis.
Mhm,
This is a joint venture.
mhm.
I don't know who the daddy is, or I can't remember if
Yeah,
that was
she didn't find out. She was like,
yeah,
"Ah."
yeah,
It could be anyone at this point.
yeah, and then the irony of it all is that she was like, "Oh, I introduced you to this job? Oh, you got that job? Oh, you moving? But what about your
Yeah,
babysitting duties? Like, how
yeah,
you going?"
right?
And I was just like, "What? That is crazy. Like,
Yeah,
that's what you worried about is who's gonna watch your kid on the weekends?"
right. Yeah.
Which I was actually surprised that
But
that
Joan stepped
that
up.
availability was still real.
Yeah. I mean, Joan came through. She prioritized that and like takes care of Francis like that's her own kid for sure. They are like tight. They are locked in, probably closer than Francis and Barbara, her mom. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't learn too much about their parents at this point.
Mhm.
There's a little bit of mention, but you don't hear a lot about their parents. So I don't know. Barbara somehow felt older and younger at the same time to me throughout
Hmm.
these sections.
Older how?
I guess just because she has the kid, I
Mm,
kind of like felt like she was the older one.
yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Mm.
As she started working at NASA, kind of like being
Barbara did?
no,
Oh,
Joan. I'm
yeah.
saying like once Joan was really actually had the job and is
Yeah.
there, like there's the one scene where they come visit so that she can take her school clothes shopping or whatever.
Right.
And you know, Joan is like, let her be a kid, make decisions, have fun, trust that she'll make good decisions. And Barbara's just kind of seems more like uptight and you
Mm.
know whatever. So I just got different vibes,
Hmm.
and again, it just seemed like she was kind of stuffy and boring and not.
Joan.
Yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no,
Oh,
not Joan.
Barbara.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm. Yeah.
so
Interesting.
that's
Did
where I'm.
so they had lived in Houston before Joan got the job as an astronaut, or were they in California?
I thought they were in California.
That's what I
I was
thought
a
too,
little confused on the location situation and
because
how
she
she
said
was like,
Caltech, right?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
and she was like, "Oh no, I'm still gonna see her every weekend." And so, but I actually thought they went
Uh-huh.
to Florida. So when they
Yeah.
started
I'm
training,
glad it wasn't just me. Yeah.
the locations were throwing me off a little bit because I know when they were flight training, they said they were going to Florida because they were
Yes.
doing the water evacuations.
Right, but I believe that NASA is headquartered in Houston, and she mentioned transferring to Rice, which
Yeah, I
is
don't
in
know where Rice
Houston.
is.
That is in Houston. I think
Okay,
she's gonna transfer her
so maybe they were in
yeah,
Houston. I mean, it
I
has
don't
to
know.
because Texas is so big. If
Texas
you were
not
in
that big. Texas
another
very blue.
city, it would still be 18 hours
I mean,
to
no,
go.
like, literally. Um, gosh, man, I wish, cause yes, I remember her saying she went to Caltech, that I definitely remember, and then right, like, so, I don't know, I'm glad I'm not the only one who was like, "What? Where? Where?"
Yeah.
Um, yeah, interesting, but either way, now she's in H-Town. She put to get her grills.
Yeah.
about to about to cue up Paul Wall.
Oh God. I do see these as is it kind of crazy that when I'm reading this book, I am imagining black people?
Oh my god, I love that. I wanna imagine black people too.
I
No.
am. I see from the cover that that is probably not the case, but
No, I actually love
I
that.
I am fully picturing black people
Sorry,
telling
Joan,
this
you're black
story. I
now.
mean, except for some of the astronauts, of course, but like the
Yeah,
lead characters being black.
I actually
Um,
love that. Wow. I agree.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
Um,
and I actually do have I have a quote that I want to read. Um, and I think what was interesting to me, Joan was very, very like pro being a strong, independent woman, right?
uh-huh. Yeah.
And going after her goals and doing whatever it is that she likes.
Mhm.
And I found it interesting that there was a point. Oh, I think I wrote the wrong page number down.
Mm.
But there was a point when her sister came to visit her. Um, yeah, I don't care about this quote anymore. But it
Okay.
basically said, if I was going to be proud of myself for being generous, that I had to do it even when it meant I might lose something.
Mm.
And so I liked that concept
Yeah.
of like she always knew she was the smartest person in the room and something that I could relate to, but it was like it's okay. It was like she was okay with helping people as long as they didn't overtake
Yeah.
her success.
Mm. Mhm.
So I don't know. That was interesting to me.
Yeah. I do remember that quote. I would have to look it up to remember the exact like the full context of it, but I do remember liking that quote for sure.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I guess I could read the whole thing.
okay.
So this is Joan speaking,
Mhm.
and she says, I always had the top grade in the class, and I would come home and brag about how I helped this boy who sat next to me who was struggling with times tables, or I helped this girl with her spelling. Then one day, this boy joins our class, and he's really good at math. Not as good as me, but almost. And he asked me for help, and I told him I'd think about it, but I didn't want to. Bobby Simpson. I was so scared that he'd take the top score from me. I told my mom that I wasn't going to help him, and my mom said that if I was going to be proud of myself for being generous, that I had to do it even when it meant I might lose something. She said, you have to have something on the line for it to be called character.
Mm. I actually really like that. Yeah. Yeah. I think that that's dang, I'm I highlighted a different quote, but I do remember that one really striking me, and I guess I had just kinda kept reading, but that is yeah, I totally, like, agree with that, like, I think that that's what makes it integrity is that, it can withstand challenges,
Yeah.
otherwise it's
You're
not
just being
integrity, it's
safe.
not character, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah,
You can't live a safe life because at some point you are going to get knocked down, you know?
yeah,
And like you're not preparing yourself for that reality of not being perfect if you constantly just play it safe and then try to like hold the top spot. So I was like,
yeah.
oh, yes, I needed to hear that.
Yeah, and for me, I don't know, it also, like, speaks to, I guess, altruism, like, like, if you're gonna say that you're, like yeah, if you're gonna say that this is, like, the kind of person that you are, like, being willing to be that person even if it means you risk having something to lose, like, so yeah, I think that's a good one, Imma have to go back and find that one. That's a goodie. Um Yeah, okay, so the space crash happens. That was 1984.
Yes.
Yeah, and then should we talk about what happens after, or was there more you wanted to talk about with that?
Wait, what space crash happens?
The one we were just talking about, or not the crash, but when
Oh, yeah, I thought we
the
already
explosion.
left 1984 and went 7 years earlier, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, so oh, well, you're right, you're right, we did. We had talked about how sorry, I think I got distracted because of the quote, and then there was something else I wanted to say too, actually. I
Okay, go for
remembered
it.
I remember what happened, the timeline. So, she was in Houston to finish her PhD because she was in Caltech, and then she moved to Houston when her sister got pregnant to finish her
You're
PhD,
right.
and
That's what it
then
was.
after that, her sister was like, "By the way," so she just so happened to be in Houston already,
Okay,
when that happened. So
okay.
there's that. But yeah, and so then so her sister does mention, right? Like, you know, you're so right. She literally was like, "Why don't you apply for this program? You could be an astronaut." And she's like, "What? Who told you to do that?
Yeah,
Me? Oh, well, forget about it. I have a kid now. We
yeah.
have a kid now, so."
Like, as long as you can do both, I guess it's okay.
But yeah, she does end up applying for the space program, and the first time she doesn't get it, but the
Yep.
second time around she does get it. And she's in an interview cohort. When she interviews, she's in a cohort with a bunch of astronauts, and one of them is Vanessa Ford, and she and Ford both are asked to join the ASCAN. What was it? Astronaut
I'm
Candidacy
asking.
Program.
ASCAN. Don't
Yeah.
ask me what it stands for.
I wanna say astronaut and candidate maybe, and then there's more after that. It was a lot of work, so I feel like
That sounds right. We're gonna ding ding
uh,
ding that one.
but yeah, and so she gets there, she starts to program, she and a bunch of the other astronauts form a little crew. It's like her, Donna, Griff, they're like the homies.
Yeah, and they
Um,
all are living on the property or really close to wherever school. I imagine it to be like college apartments, you
yeah.
know. That's
Mhm,
what I my brain is seeing.
mhm. Yeah, I think you're right. Um, I don't think that Vanessa stays on campus, if I'm not mistaken.
No, she didn't. She was like, I can't be that close I
Yeah.
need some separation from
Yeah,
like
which I
work
understand.
life and personal life.
I get
So
that, yeah.
she seems like an introvert in a way,
Mm,
like an
mhm,
extroverted introvert. Like I
mhm.
can be out there if I want to be, but I'm choosing peace.
Right. Right, yeah. And so, yeah, but they do start to kind of, like, form a little connection. I think they, like, get to chatting at a bar or something like that and have, like, a couple of these little, like, interactions. There was one moment that kind of, like I don't know. I really liked this as like something that happened early in their relationship. So like Vanessa, right? Like Vanessa, I think she's an introvert, but she seems like someone who's like just really strong-minded, like maybe quiet, maybe reserved, but
Yeah, I think she's very strong-willed and
yeah.
confident,
Yeah.
and it can intimidate people.
Yeah.
So it makes her seem as if she's standoffish and antisocial,
Yeah.
when in fact she's just self-assured.
Yes, I think that that's what it is. Like self-assured and like very determined. And there's a moment where they're like doing some training. This might have been when they were in Florida. And there's like the sobering talk that they have about the very real dangers that come with some of what they're trying to do. So, like in 1967, there was this training for the Apollo program. And this happened during the training, but there was a fire in the cabin of their little vessel, their space vessel that they were trying out. And everybody in that vessel essentially burned alive.
Mm.
And they have to listen to the track recording, the audio recording of what's going on inside of this space shuttle, like, which is just,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so intense. But nobody leaves, nobody quits. Everybody's like, bout it. And yeah, there's like, so they go through this like actual, like physical training, and which like wow, I did not realize that being an astronaut would be so physically demanding.
Yeah, especially because her role, it seemed like, was more not research based, but it didn't
Yeah.
seem like her. position would be a physical job.
Right.
So I
But
did find that interesting. And anything when I don't know something, I'm like super fascinated because I know these things are based on research.
yeah,
And
you researched the heck out of this book. I was like,
yeah.
You understand what you're saying right now? I don't understand what you're saying right now.
No, like the
Space.
astrophysicist and the engineer and the this and the this. And like I get that there's all these different roles, but I think it's fascinating that everybody, even though their role or work is different, they all are still going through the same crazy ass training.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very intense, it sounded like, and so there's this one point where she's explaining what the thing is that they have to do, like, they have to jump out of in a harness off of a boat, but they're attached to a speedboat, but in
Mhm.
that boat, they're gonna, like, parasail from that boat into the water, I don't know, I didn't really
And
understand.
then they have to inflate a life raft after
And
they get from under their
shoot in the water, is that
yeah.
okay. Right, and then they have to climb into it, basically.
Yes. Yep.
Um
Mhm.
I wish I knew what this test was called because I wanted to look up a video of it because I legitimately was like, I don't understand the jumping from like, are there two boats involved or is it just the one speedboat? Like, I didn't really get what it looked like to do something like this, but it sounded really hard.
Yeah. It
And
sounded hella fun to me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And I'm reading this like after I went swimming yesterday and I'm like, "Oh, I could have gotten from under that parachute and
yeah.
out and into the," and I probably couldn't because I'm so not in that
I
type of
mean, it
shape.
sounds intense for sure. Maybe parts of it might be fun, but it definitely sounds like altogether it could be a little intense.
The
But
falling into the water is the only fun part for me.
yeah, that part parasailing sounds pretty fun too.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if she's running, like, is she tugging the weight of a speedboat behind like, I just didn't understand it.
I think
Um
no, you know what I think what it was? I think
Mhm,
so imagine a dock
mhm,
and a boat, you're attached to the boat, uh, by a string, and
mhm,
what it sounded like was is that the boat is gonna take off, and so she's running,
uh-huh,
and then she's gonna jump off the dock, and then that would propel her into the air
okay,
because the boat and the parasail has her or the parachute has her flying up, and
mhm,
then gets released from the boat and
hmm,
then falls into the water.
hmm,
And then she has to get from under the parachute,
mhm.
inflate a boat, and then get into the boat and let people know she survived.
Wow,
That's how I imagined it in my mind.
okay. So, but she's on a still dock and then
Well, she said she had to run. So,
right, but
but
I thought
she
she
had to
said
be on
she
some sort of land, and the boat obviously had to be on water. So I just said a dock because that
mm,
visually makes the most sense. It could be
yeah,
a
Imma
beach,
try
I
to
guess. I
find
don't know.
yeah, Imma try to find something, I'm curious, I'm gonna do some research and see if I can find something that will help me visualize this, but I got for the most part that it was at least a pretty rigorous test.
Yeah.
And so she's super nervous and Vanessa gives her like a really sweet encouraging talk and I don't know, there was a quote from that I thought I think
Yeah.
that gave us a lot of insight into who Vanessa is as a person and like Vanessa's character. Um and I really liked this quote from her. And it says, "Do you know the difference between bravery and courage?" Vanessa said. Joan considered the question. "I don't think so. My dad taught me when I was little. Bravery is being unafraid of something other people are afraid of. Courage is being afraid but strong enough to do it anyway." "Oh," Joan said. "Neither of us are particularly brave right now," Vanessa said, "but both of us are going to be courageous." And so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was really sweet. I was like, "Oh." But it's like Vanessa was scared too. Like
Mhm.
Joan kind of like approaches her and is like, "You don't seem afraid." And she's like, "No, I'm pretty terrified right now."
Yeah.
Just I wear it differently. Yeah. And so yeah, I don't know. That really resonated with me. Cause yeah, I feel like I'm like I'm always, like, finding quotes, like, it's always the ones that, like, feel relevant to me, like, at that particular point in my life, but I feel like I'm being asked to be, like, really not asked to, but I guess life
Yeah.
is demanding that I be really courageous right now,
Hmm.
and I don't know, it's, like, interesting just, like, assessing the difference between those 2 and, like, how
Had you ever heard of that difference or that parallel or comparison before?
no, I just always thought of them as the same thing. Yeah,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, I love it. I loved it. I actually thought I wrote it down too.
mm.
I didn't because I had wrote two other. I guess I
It's
had other
okay,
quotes.
between the 2 of us, we get it covered.
Yeah, but that one, yeah, I agree. And I also liked, you know, I think it's something about knowing where I don't actually know where this relationship is going,
Yeah.
but appreciating the art of friendship
Mm,
and the power of friendship. And
mm,
like, I don't know it in this moment if either of them is attracted to the other person. It's clear that Joan does have a bit of, I don't want to say infantilization, but she's
mm,
in awe.
mhm,
But I think it's the confidence that she's attracted to right now. Like she
mhm,
wishes she carried herself
mhm.
in that way.
Yeah.
And I just like seeing sort of like an organic relationship growing
Yeah.
without the pretext of, "Do you like my hair? Do you
Be a
like my
thing,
dress?"
yeah.
It's not a it's just about the people and who the people are, and, like, you can see, Vanessa kinda, like, analyzing Joan and seeing, like, how she is, and, I think in that same scene or in that same moment, she's like, "Oh, I can tell that you're brave," or something like that, and, when she starts comparing they have that whole Marlon Brando and,
Yeah.
what's the other
Paul Newman?
old white dude they compare each other to?
Paul Newman, I
Um,
think she said.
who was it?
Paul Newman, maybe?
Yeah, yeah. So when they're,
Who I
like,
also
making
don't
these
know, but
comparisons of each other,
mm,
like, you can just sense, yeah,
there's
that's what
like
it
a
was. Yeah, so Vanessa says she liked her more because she was complaining about being at this party.
mm,
I guess originally she always felt like Joan was always perfect and trying to be Miss Perfect. And so she
mm,
compared her to Marlon Brando's nose, where he got more attractive
mm,
once he wasn't perfect.
mhm.
And it was like her low key way of saying, like, that makes you more attractive to me because you're not trying to be Miss Goody Goody who
It's
shows up 5 minutes
attention to
early,
yeah,
got your 8 pens and pencils, and you
right.
asking questions, and
Yeah,
you can just be regular and not perfect like everybody else.
right.
Which is
Yeah.
kinda ironic because I feel like she thinks Vanessa's perfect. So it's
Yeah.
like, how how are
Yeah.
y'all seeing each other?
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. 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 I hear you though. Like I like that it's like that connection kind of like it seems like is forming like organically and like there is like some sort of tension I think building, but it's like it feels slow and not forced. It doesn't feel like and it feels more than like sexual tension. Like it doesn't feel like
Mhm.
it's like there's like an emotional tension that
Bond.
is like
Yeah,
building, but like in a good way, you know?
yeah.
um and that's pretty cool. Like a real bond. Like yeah, I don't know. It's sweet. It's nice. But yeah, so Joan passes her test. Yay, Joan.
Whoop, whoop.
Thanks, Vanessa. I'm assuming Vanessa passes too. But
Yeah, yeah, we don't see, but
yeah.
she's probably an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah. And so I mean, I think there's like a little I think that more or less kind of like covers like the main things that happen. I don't know if there was anything else that you really wanted to touch on, but that kind of like I feel like is where yeah.
There was one thing I wanted to touch on, and then we can kinda circle to general themes.
Yeah.
And I know this is kind of the go this is where I thought my original, quote was, but
Mm.
it was a conversation between Barbara and Joan when Barbara came in town, or not in town, but when Barbara came and dropped off Francis, and Barbara recognized that Joan was happy, like
Mhm.
joyful and just like beaming. And I thought it was funny that her initial reaction is like, "So who you hitting?" Like it was like
Oh, yeah.
that her happiness was predicated on being in a relationship.
Yeah.
Now, the two interesting things about that
Mhm.
for me was that I do think that that air was a result of Joan loving her job and being excited and loving what she does. But I
Mhm.
can't also not believe
Hmm.
that Vanessa played some sort of part in her happy. Like I do think there's this underlying, because even when you have like a really good friendship,
Yeah.
whether it's of an intimate nature or not, or just like this, it can bring you up. Like
Yeah,
it can,
absolutely.
and so it just was interesting to me. And I'm trying to see if I had that specific quote, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was just funny how um, she was like, "You've met someone," Barbara said. "What? No. I thought for sure that's what all this was, that glee in your voice." "Barbara?" Joan said, "No." Barbara sighed. "I swear, Joan, every time I think I understand you, I'm more wrong than the time before." "I'm not that hard to understand, Barb. I love my new job. It's the coolest thing I've ever done."
Hmm.
And then it says Barbara looked at her and Joan could feel the distance between them growing.
Mm.
She'd just been an arm's length away a second ago, but she was gone now.
Hmm.
And so it's like this new career is really creating this divide. But
Mhm.
like I said,
Barbara can't relate.
I think she's telling the truth and she's lying to herself. I think it
Yeah.
is about the job, but also don't think it's just about the job.
Yeah, it's probably like 70% about the job and like 30% about like it's not nothing, it's not negligible her relationship with Vanessa, but I'm sure that she's like at least 60-40. Do think that she's probably mostly stoked about the job
Yeah.
and, like, stoked about her friends, she's got, like, John and Donna and, like, they're a whole little squad or whatever, so I feel like she's genuinely stoked about other things and other relationships, but also, like, about, Vanessa too. And I think, yeah, that divide that it caused between them is interesting, like, Barbara just is like, "I don't relate to that. I don't relate to that kind of fulfillment from probably somebody like from probably really, really anything that's not romantic or like sexual or,
Hmm.
that doesn't come from a man is what it seems like based on what we know about Barbara so far. So I wonder
Yeah.
if that any of that is envy or if it's just genuinely like, I don't know what it feels like to have my happiness come from someplace other than like,
Yeah. I mean, she overall seems unhappy in life.
yeah, yeah.
Like, it's
Hmm.
like even her kid doesn't bring her joy. And I feel like Joan even flagged that in a way of like, you really need to like take in your priorities and figure out what happiness is to you, because you have this whole human who's amazing and it feels like she doesn't appreciate this child.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
So yes, that's all I got from
Yeah.
my general thoughts. But yeah, it's definitely a slow build. It's a lot of just, kind of seeing these characters' personalities come off and getting to know them,
Mhm.
love or hate them.
Mhm.
There's definitely some characters that's just like, girl, sit down. Some people hooking up, which of
Mhm.
course, which you probably spending a lot of time with these people. So what else are you gonna do?
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, well, I mean, I think I yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go even deeper, and to explore some of these themes even deeper. I think, like, yeah, one of the big themes that came up was just, like, for me, bravery, this concept of bravery versus courage and what it means to lean into fear and use it. And I think, there's also themes of like building connection with other people, platonic and romantic. And yeah, I think I'm just excited to like, yeah, dive into. There's some good stuff coming up already that I'm excited to dive further into.
Yeah, it felt like a lot didn't happen in this
Mhm.
first section. So I am looking forward to how things evolve and where things go because obviously we have a long time to get back to the space shuttle moment.
Right, 7 years, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it will be interesting to see how this, like, how slow burn of a slow burn is this
yeah,
really?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But it's like, I don't know, it's interesting. Like, even though it was not that much happened, I still felt like we had a lot to talk about. So,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, for
that's
sure,
cool.
and it was a bit chaotic, sorry, y'all, the, like, lack of chapters is definitely throwing it off,
Yeah. I
so I
thought we
feel
did
like we were kinda all over the place, but we
no.
we always got back to where it needed to be, so
Yeah, no, I think we totally did great. Yeah. Yeah. Well, next week
Yeah.
we will be covering pages 68 through 139. So, let's see, 139. Where does that?
Yeah, and 68 takes us into the 80s.
Okay,
So
cool.
we're back from the 70s to 1984.
Mhm.
Um,
And somehow we end up in 1981.
yeah,
Page
this is definitely
140.
jumping all over. This is a flashback and flash forward kind of book.
Yeah, yeah. But we will be going back to, I guess, this the time period that kicked off the book. And then yeah, continuing to travel through time. And yeah, I'm super stoked to keep going with this one. I'll probably start reading it as soon as we're done.
Yeah, so make sure you're supporting your local libraries or local authors. I always try to put the author's website in the show notes or their publisher's site in the show notes. So support the author and make sure you follow us on the Instagram. That is our primary social hub. We are Words in the Wild Pod on Instagram, and subscribe to our podcast so that they automatically hit your feed every Monday morning. So subscribe
Mm.
to that, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which does have our podcast as well, but it's also primarily for Beyond the Wild. It's kind of our beyond and deeper inside the book discussions
Yeah.
and all the things. There is no words of the week this week. Sorry, y'all, but just keep fighting a good fight out here. These streets are looking a little rough. Um,
We gave some good words of the week though, I think in
yeah,
our recap of the book. There's some good quotes in there. So hopefully you got
yes.
something.
Yes. So, take some of the words that we read from this week and let that inspire you. And join in on the conversation. We do still have a Facebook group if you want to join in the conversation there, or you can join our book club on our website at firstoutdoor.co/words in the wild pod. So all that stuff is in the show notes.
Thanks so much for being here with us. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you
Just
all
stay
for joining
tuned.
us.
Keep riding with
See
us.
you next week.
See ya. Bye.
Words in the Wild, an adventure and wellness podcast produced by First Outdoor Company. Subscribe now and be sure to follow us on social media at Words in the Wild Pod.